Hey people, it's Kola talking. This is another reading of John Milton's Paradise Lost. Here we go. Close sailing from Bengala over the isles of Ternate and Tidor, who whence merchants sing their spicy drugs. They on the trading flood through the wide Ethiopian to the Cape, ply stemming nightly toward the pole. So seen far off the flying fiend at last appear. Hell bounds high reaching to the horrid roof, and fries threefold the gates, threefold were brass, free iron free of adamantine rock, impenetrable, impaled with circling fire, yet unconsumed, before the gates there sat, on either side, of formidable shape. The one seemed woman to the waist and fair, but ended foul in many a scaly fold, voluminous and vast, a serpent armed, with mortal sting about her middle round. A cry of hellbounds never ceasing barked, the wide Cerberean mouths full loud and wrong, a hideous peal, yet when they list, would creep, if aught disturbed their noise, into her womb, and kennel there, yet there still barked and howled within unseen, far less abhorred than these vexed Scylla, bathing in the sea that parts Calabria from the hoarse Trinacrian shore, nor uglier follow the night hag, when cold in secret, riding through the air she comes, lured with the smell of infant blood, to dance with Lapland witches, while the labouring moon eclipses at their charms. The other shape, if shape it might be called that shape, had none, distinguishable in member, joint, or limb, or substance might be called that shadow seemed. For each seemed either black, it stood as night, fierce as 10 furies, terrible as hell, and shook a dreadful dart, what seemed his head. The likeliness of a kingly crown had on. Satan was now at hand, and from his seat the monster moving forward came as fast, with horrid strides. Hell trembled as he strode. The undaunted fiend, what this might be admired not feared, God and his Son except. Created thing naught, value he nor shunned, and with disdainful look first began. Whence and what art thou, execrable shape, that durst, though grim and terrible, advanced, thy miscreated front athwart my way, to yonder gates. Through them I mean to pass, that be assured, without leave ask of fee, retire or taste thy folly, and learn by proof. Hell-bound, not to contend with spirits of heaven, to whom the goblin full of wrath replied, art thou that traitor angel, art thou he, who first broke peace in heaven and faith, till then, unbroken, and in proud rebellious arms, drew after him the third part of heaven's sons, conjured against the highest, for which both thou and they, outcast from God, are here condemned to waste eternal days in woe and pain. And reckonest thou thyself with spirits of heaven, hell doomed and breathest defiance here in scorn, where I reign king, and to enrage thee more, thy king and lord, back to thy punishment false fugitive, and to thy speed at wings, lest to a whip of scorpions I pursue, thy lingering over one stroke of this dart. Strange horror seized thee, and pangs felt unbefore, so spake the grisly terror, and in shape, so speaking and so threatening, grew tenfold, more dreadful and deformed. O the other side, incensed with indignation, Satan stood, unterrified, and like a comet burned, that fires the length of Ophiuchus huge, in the Arctic sky, and from his horrid hair shakes pestilence and war, each of the hands levelled his deadly aim, their fatal hands. No second stroke intent, and such a frown each cast at the other, as when two black clouds with heaven's artillery fort came rattling over the Caspian, then stand front to front, hovering a space, till the signal blow to join their dark encounter in midair. So frowned the mighty combatants that hell grew darker at their frown, so matched they stood. For never but once more was either like to meet so great a foe, and now great deeds had been achieved, whereof all hell had wrung, had not the snaky sorceress that sat fast by hell gate and kept the fatal key, risen, and with hideous outcry rushed between. O Father that intends thy hand, she cried, against thy only Son, what fury, O Son, possess thee to bend that mortal dart against thy Father's head? And knows for whom? For him who sits above and laughs the while, and thee ordained his drudge to execute whatever his wrath, which he calls justice bids, his wrath which one day will destroy ye both. She spake, and at her words the hellish pest forbore. Then these to her Satan returned. So strange thy outcry, and thy words so strange. Thou interposest that my sudden hand prevent spares to tell thee yet by deeds, or it intends till first I know of thee. What thing thou art, thus double formed, and why in this infernal veil first met, then thou callest me flower, and that phantasm calls my son. I know thee not, nor ever saw till now, sight more detestable than him and thee. The whom thus the porters of hell gate replied, Hast thou forgotten me then? And do I seem now in thine eyes so foul, once deemed so fair in heaven and when at the assembly, and in sight of all the seraphim with thee combined, in bold conspiracy against heaven's king, all of a sudden miserable pain, surprise there, dim thine eyes, and dizzy swam. In darkness all my head's flame thick and fast, threw forth, and the left side up opening wide, like us to thee in shape and countenance bright, then shining heavenly fair, a goddess armed, out of thy head and I sprung. Amazement seized all the host of heaven, back they recoiled, afraid at first, and called me sin, and for a sign portentous held me, but familiar grown, I pleased, and with attractive graces won, the most averse, thee chiefly who fall oft, thyself in me thy perfect image viewing, becomest enamored, and such joy thou tookest, with me in secret that my womb conceived a growing burden. Meanwhile war arose and fields were fought in heaven, wherein remained for what could else to our almighty foe clear victory, to our part loss and rout. Through all the Empyrean down they fell, driving headlong from the pitch of heaven down into this deep. And in the general fall I also, at which time this powerful key into my hand was given, with charges to keep these gates for ever shut, which none can pass without my opening. Pensive here I sat, alone, but long I sat not, till my womb pregnant thee, and now excessive grown, prodigious motion felt, and rueful froze. At last this odious offspring whom thou seest, thine own begotten, breaking violent way, tore through my entrails that with fear and pain distorted all my never shape, thus grew, transformed, but he my inbred enemy, forth issued, brandishing his fatal dart, made to destroy. I fled and cried out death. Hell trembled at the hideous name and sighed. From all her caves and back resounded death. I fled, but he pursued, though more it seems. Inflamed with lust and rage, and swifter far, me overtook his mother, all dismayed, and in embraces forcible and foul, engendering me with me of that rape begot. These yelling monsters that with ceaseless cry surrounded me, as thou sawest, hourly conceived and hourly born, with sorrow infinite to me, for when they listen to the womb that bred whom they return and howl and gnaw, my bowels there repassed, then bursting forth, afresh with conscious terrors vex me round, that rest or intermission none I find. Before mine eyes in opposition sits grim death my son and foe, for sets them on, and me his parent would full soon devour, for want of other prey, but that he knows his end will mine involved, and knows that I should prove a bitter morsel, and his bane, whenever that shall be, so fate pronounced. But foul father I forewarn thee shun his deadly arrow, neither vainly hope to be invulnerable in those bright arms, though tempered heavenly for that mortal dint, save he who reigns above, none can resist. She finished, and that subtle fiend his law, soon learned now milder and first answered smooth. Dear daughter, since thou claimest me for thy sire, and my fair son here showest me the dear pledge of dalliance had with thee in heaven, and joys, then sweet, now sad to mention, through dire change, befallen us unforeseen, unthought of, no, I come no enemy, but to set free, from out this dark and dismal house of pain, both him and thee, and all the heavenly host, those spirits that in our just pretences armed, fell with us from on high. From them I go, this uncouth errant soul, and one for all, myself exposed with lonely steps to tread the unfounded deep, and through the void immense, who search with wandering quest a place foretold, should be, and by concurrent signs ere now, creating vast and round, a place of bliss. In the peerless of heaven and therein placed a race of upstart creatures to supply, perhaps our vacant room, door more removed, lest heaven surcharged with potent multitude, might hap to move new broils, be this or aught than this new secret now designed. I haste to know, and this once known shall soon return. And bring ye to the place where fire and death shall dwell at ease, and up and down unseen, when silently the buxom air embalmed. With odors there ye shall be fed and filled, immeasurably all things shall be your prey. He ceased, for both seemed highly pleased, and death grinned horrible, a ghastly smile to hear. His famine should be fulfilled, and blessed his more, destined to be that good hour. No less rejoiced his mother bade, and first bespake her sire. The key of this infernal pit by do, and by command of heaven's all-powerful king, I keep by him forbidden to unlock. These adamantine gates over, against all force, death ready stands to interpose his dart. Fearless to be overmatched by living might, but what owe I to his commands above, who hates me, and have thither thrust me down, into this gloom of torturous profound, to sit in hateful office here confined, inhabitant of heaven and heavenly born, here in perpetual agony and pain, with terrors and calamors compassed round, of mine own cruel, that on my bowels feed. Thou art my father, thou my author, thou my beings gives me, whom should I obey? But thee whom follow, thou will bring me soon to that new world of light and bliss, among the gods who live at ease, where I shall resign, at thy right hand voluptuous as beseems, thy daughter and thy darling without end. Thus saying from her side the fatal key, sad instrument of all our woe, she took, and towards the gate rolling her bestial train, forthwith the huge portcullis high up drew, which but herself not all the Stygian powers could once have moved. Then in the keyhole turns the intricate words, and every bolt and bar of massy iron, solid rock with ease, unfastens on a sudden open fly, with impetuous recoil and jarring sound. The infernal doors are on their hinges great. Harsh thunder in the lowest bottom shook of Erebus. She opened but to shut, excelled her power. The gates wide open stood, that with extended wings a bannered host, under spreading sides, marching might pass through, with horse and chariots ranked in loose array. So wide they stood, in like a furnace mouth, cast forth redounding smoke and ruddy flame. Before the eyes in sudden view appear the secrets of the hoary deep, a dark, illimitable ocean without bound, without dimension, where length, breadth, and height, and in time and place are lost, where eldest night and chaos, ancestors of nature, hold eternal anarchy amidst the noise of endless wars, and by confusion stand, for hot, cold, moist, and dry, four champions fierce, strive here for mastery, and to battles bring their embryon atoms. They around the flag of each his faction in their several clans, light-armed or heavy, sharp, smooth, swift or slow, sworn populace unnumbered as the sands of Barca or Cyrene's torrid soil, levied to side with warring winds, and poise their lighter wings to whom these most adhere. He rules a moment, chaos umpire sits, and by decision more embroils the fray, but which he reigns next him high arbiter, chance governs all, into this wild abyss, the womb of nature, and perhaps her grave, of neither sea, nor shore, nor air, nor fire, but all these in their pregnant causes mixed confusedly, and which first must ever fight, unless the Almighty Maker them ordain his dark materials to create more words. Into this wild abyss the weary fiend stood on the brink of hell and looked a while, plundering his voyage, for no narrow frith he had to cross, nor was his ear less peeled with noises less loud and ruinous. To compare, great things look small than when Bellona storms, where all her battering engines bent to raise some capital city, or less than if this frame of heaven were falling, and these elements in mutiny had from her axle torn. The steadfast earth at last his sail broad vans, he spreads far flight, and in the surging smoke uplifted spurns the ground, thence many a league, as in a cloudy chair ascending rides, audacious but that soon failing, meets a vast vacuity, all unawares, fluttering his pennons vein plumb down he drops, then in thousand fathoms deep, and to this hour down had been falling, had not by ill chance the strong rebuffle some tumultuous cloud. Instinct with fire in neater hurried him, as many miles aloft their fury stayed, quenched in the boggy Syrtis neither sea, nor good dry land, nigh founded on he fares, treading the crude consistence half on foot, half flying, behooves him now both oar and sail. As when a griffon through the wilderness, with winged course o'er hill or moory dale, pursues the Armis Arimaspian, who by stealth had from his wakeful custody purloined the guarded gold, so eagerly the fiend, o'er bog or sleep, dove straight, rough, dense or rare, with head, hands, wings or feet pursues his way, and swims or sinks, wades or creeps or flies. At length, a universal hubbub wild, of stunning sounds and voice all confused, borne through the hollow dark assaults his ear, with loudest vehemence thither he plies, undaunted to meet there whatever power or spirit of the nevermost abyss might in that noise reside, of whom to ask which way the nearest coast of darkness lies. Bordering on light, when straight behold the throne of chaos and his dark pavilion spread, wide on the wasteful deep, with him enthroned, sat sable-vested night, eldest of things, the consort of his reign, and by them stood Orcus and Ads, and the dreaded name of Demogorgon, rumor next and chance, and tumult and confusion all embroiled, and discord of a thousand various mouths, to whom Satan returning boldly thus, ye powers and spirits of this never most abyss, chaos and ancient night, I come no spy, with purpose to explore or to disturb the secret of your realm, but by constraint, wandering this darksome desert as my way lies through your spacious empire up to light, alone and without guide, half lost, I seek what readiest path leads where your gloomy bounds, confined with heaven, or if some other place, from your dominion one, the ethereal king, possesses lightly thither to arrive. I travel this profound, direct my course, directed no mean recompense it brings, to your behoof, if I that region lost, or usurpation thence expel, reduce to her original darkness and your sway, which is my present journey, and once more erect the standard there of ancient night. Yours be advantage or mine the revenge, for Satan and him was the anarch old. With faltering speech and visage incomposed, answered, I know feast danger, who far art, that mighty leading angel who of late made head against heaven and kings, though overthrown, I saw and heard for such a numerous host, fled not in silence through the affrighted deep, with ruin upon ruin, rout on rout, confusion worse confounded, and heaven gates, poured out by millions, her victorious bands, pursuing. I upon my frontiers here keep residence, if all I can will serve, that little which is left so to defend. Encroached on still though your intestine broils, weakening the sceptre of all night. First hell your dungeon stretching far and wide beneath. Now lately heaven and earth, another world hung over my realm, linked in a golden chain. To that side heaven from whence your legions fell. If that way be your walk, you have not far. So such the nearest danger, go and speed. Havoc and spoil and ruin are my gain. He ceased and stayed not to reply, but glad that now his sea should find his shore. With fresh alacrity and force renewed, springs upward like a pyramid of fire into the wide expanse, and through the shock of fighting elements on all sides round, environed wins his way, harder best, and more in danger than when Argo passed through Bosphorus betwixt the jostling rocks, or when Ulysses on the larboard shunned Charybdis and by the other whirlpool steered. So he with other difficulty and labor hard moved on with difficulty and labor he. But he once passed soon after when man fell, strange alteration, sin and death amain, following his track, such was the will of heaven. Pave after him a broad and beaten way, with the dark abyss, whose boiling gulf. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. This is another reading by Kola. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe, and tune in for next time. Peace.